It had been 30 long years since Johnny Depp last walked into the world of high fashion. 3 decades where the movie star who once ruled Hollywood stayed away from runways, flashes, and front-row seats. So when he finally appeared again, and not just anywhere, but at Paris Fashion Week, people knew something big was about to happen. Because Johnny doesn't do ordinary. When he shows up, he makes sure it's a moment the world talks about. And that's exactly what happened when the camera spotted him sitting right next to France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron. It almost felt surreal. Johnny Depp, the Hollywood rebel, and Brigitte Macron, the elegant symbol of French sophistication, sitting side by side at the Christian Dior show. 2 completely different worlds blending into one perfect photo. The 62-year-old actor looked effortlessly stylish, that familiar blend of rockstar grit and European charm. A gray hat tilted just enough to look casual, a matching blazer layered over a crisp collared shirt, and those classic blue jeans that somehow made the whole outfit feel relaxed yet iconic. Add a pair of tinted sunglasses, and there it was, the full Johnny Depp aura. Cool. Quiet. Unbothered. Brigitte matched the tone beautifully. At 72, she's the definition of timeless style, tailored blazer, fitted jeans, and the signature Lady Dior bag hanging effortlessly from her arm. She looked radiant, confident, and completely in her element. When they leaned in to greet each other, smiling for the cameras, it wasn't just a polite gesture. It felt like mutual respect, 2 icons acknowledging each other's energy. The crowd could feel it. The flashes intensified, whispers spread through the front row, and within minutes, the internet was on fire. Posts, clips, edits, memes, the moment went viral before the show had even ended. But this wasn't a random meeting. Johnny's connection with Dior runs deep. Back in 2015, Dior chose him as the face of their men's fragrance, Savage. It was a perfect match. The campaign captured Johnny's raw magnetism, the desert, the guitar, the silence, and that gaze that told 1,000 stories. It wasn't just perfume, it was a portrait of who he was, a free spirit refusing to be tamed. For years, the campaign became part of Dior's identity. But then came the turbulence. The lawsuits, the headlines, the defamation trial with Amber Heard, the kind of storm that could end any career. Many brands stepped back, cutting ties and waiting for the dust to settle. Dior didn't. They stood by him quietly, without fanfare or statements. They kept his face on billboards. They kept running his ads. And in doing so, they made a statement louder than words: loyalty matters. That loyalty paid off. During the height of controversy, Savage became one of the best-selling fragrances in the world. Fans supported it not just for the scent, but for what it represented: belief, resilience, and artistic integrity. By 2023, when Dior renewed Johnny's contract for over $20 million, it wasn't just a business decision. It was a full-circle moment. The same brand that refused to abandon him now gave him one of the biggest endorsement deals in history. So when Johnny showed up at Paris Fashion Week this October, it wasn't just as a guest. It was as family. A quiet return to the brand that never left his side. As he walked into the Dior venue, the atmosphere changed. People didn't gasp, they smiled. It wasn't the dramatic re-entry of a scandalized celebrity trying to make headlines, it was something softer, more human. Johnny looked at ease, laughing, talking, soaking in the vibe. The camera zoomed in, and fans noticed the small details, the silver rings, the relaxed posture, the humble nods to people he knew. He wasn't there to perform. He was simply present. That authenticity is what people love about him. No matter what happens, Johnny stays real. Brigitte Macron mirrored that same energy. Known for her warmth and charm, she's always managed to balance grace with relatability. Watching her share a conversation with Johnny was fascinating. It didn't look forced. It looked natural, as if they'd known each other for years. They laughed at something, leaned closer, and the photographers captured it, that perfect blend of Hollywood charisma and French elegance. It became the picture of the day, splashed across news sites and social feeds. Some joked that France met Hollywood and fashion won. But beyond the glitz, there was symbolism everywhere. Johnny's presence at Dior was layered with meaning. It wasn't just about clothes or celebrity appearances, it was about identity and resilience. After everything he'd been through, public trials, loss of roles, years of scrutiny, here he was, sitting front row in Paris, calm and content. He didn't need to prove anything. His silence spoke volumes. Every glance, every smile said, "I'm still here. And I'm doing just fine." The truth is, Johnny's journey over the past few years has been nothing short of transformative. When Hollywood doors seemed to close, he didn't chase them. Instead, he returned to what he loves most, creating. He painted, wrote music, and toured with rock legends like Jeff Beck and Alice Cooper. His art exhibitions in Europe sold out. His music performances were raw, emotional, filled with gratitude. Those who saw him live said he looked lighter, happier, as if he'd finally found peace outside the noise of fame. That same energy was visible at the Dior show, a quiet confidence that comes only from surviving the storm. The audience noticed it too. As he sat beside Brigitte Macron, fans around them whispered, smiled, even clapped softly when the photographers called his name. There was admiration in the air, not for the celebrity, but for the man who refused to give up. He didn't need to say a word. The moment said it all. Paris welcomed him back not as a headline, but as an artist. And Dior reminded everyone why they believed in him from the start. Meanwhile, Brigitte's presence added another layer to the scene. She has always represented France's modern face, confident, stylish, and unafraid to break convention. Her choice of denim for a high-fashion event spoke volumes. It said, "Style has no age, and elegance doesn't need rules." Sitting beside Johnny, she wasn't just another VIP guest. She was a symbol of acceptance, bridging politics, art, and culture in one elegant gesture. Together, they embodied something powerful, the idea that reinvention never stops, no matter how old you are or what you've been through. Outside the venue, Paris buzzed. Fans gathered near the entrances hoping for a glimpse. When Johnny stepped out, he waved, smiled, even signed a few autographs. Reporters shouted questions, but he didn't respond, he didn't need to. The smile was enough. Later that night, the photos flooded every major platform. Hashtags like hashtag Johnny Depp at Dior and hashtag Paris Fashion Week began trending. Thousands of fans wrote messages like, "So proud of him," and "The King is back." It was clear, people weren't just admiring his look, they were celebrating his comeback. Inside fashion circles, his appearance was equally significant. For Dior, it was a reaffirmation of their brand's message, authenticity, artistry, and courage. For Johnny, it was closure, the transformation of controversy into confidence. And for fans, it was hope, proof that the right story eventually wins. What stood out most was how natural it all looked. There was no forced publicity stunt, no dramatic entrance. Just Johnny being Johnny, comfortable in his own skin, surrounded by people who respected him for more than his fame. As the show went on, you could catch glimpses of him reacting to the designs, occasionally clapping, nodding, smiling. The energy between him and Brigitte stayed light and friendly. At one point, she leaned over and said something that made him laugh, and that single moment became the cover shot for half the magazines the next morning. Commentators called it a rare picture of effortless charm. Fashion critics said his appearance captured the soul of Dior, timeless, bold, and deeply human. Behind the scenes, people close to Johnny described him as calm and grateful. He had no entourage, no exaggerated security detail, no diva behavior. Just a few friends, his usual accessories, and that unmistakable warmth that disarms everyone around him. Some who met him at the event said he spent time greeting staff, thanking organizers, and quietly complimenting models backstage. That humility is what separates him from most stars. For Johnny, every appearance is about connection, not attention. After the show, as Paris lights glowed over the Seine, fans lingered outside hoping for another glimpse. For many, this appearance wasn't just fashion news, it was emotional closure. They'd followed him through trials, heartbreak, and endless speculation. Seeing him happy, laughing beside Brigitte Macron, felt like witnessing a personal victory. One fan wrote online, "He didn't just survive, he evolved." Another said, "That smile means more than any verdict ever could." Those comments perfectly summed up what that night represented. And if you think about it, it's poetic. A man once judged in courtrooms now being celebrated in catwalks. The same public that once doubted him now cheering him on. It's as if the universe decided to rewrite the narrative, from scandal to grace, from controversy to charisma. Paris became the perfect backdrop for that transformation. Because Paris isn't just about fashion, it's about reinvention. And Johnny embodied that spirit better than anyone else that evening. The next morning, headlines called it Johnny Depp's triumphant return. But to him, it probably felt more like peace. He's never been the kind of person who chases applause. He values meaning over noise, art over attention. And maybe that's why moments like these feel so powerful. They're not staged, they're real. Just a man rediscovering joy, connection, and appreciation in the most authentic way possible. If you watched closely, everything about that day told a story. The calmness in his expressions, the friendly exchange with Brigitte, the confidence in his walk, all of it reflected years of growth. He's not trying to reclaim the past, he's building something new. Something quieter, stronger, and more personal. You could sense it even in the way he moved, slower, grounded, like someone who finally feels at home again. In the end, that's what this entire appearance symbolized, not a Hollywood comeback, but a human one. A reminder that true style isn't about what you wear, but how you carry your scars. Johnny Depp didn't just turn heads at Paris Fashion Week, he turned the page. And as he left the venue, disappearing into the Paris night with that familiar mix of mystery and grace, one thing became clear, this was more than fashion. It was history repeating itself in the most beautiful way possible. So when people look back on Paris Fashion Week 2025, they won't just remember the clothes or the runway. They'll remember the man who walked back into the spotlight on his own terms, with quiet strength and a smile that said everything words couldn't. Johnny Depp, the artist, the survivor, the legend, reminding the world that class, courage, and authenticity never go out of style.